Hey guys, welcome to this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Brendan, and today we're going to be discussing how or whether functional patterns can help me run a half marathon, do it in a good time, keep me injury free and pain free, and contribute to all the strength and conditioning that goes along with properly training for a half marathon. Before we get going with this video, I just want to make something very clear on this channel, that all the opinions and views that I share on this channel are my own. Functional Patterns has no say, nor do they direct or have any contribution to any of the content that I make in this channel. I am a Functional Patterns doer, and if anyone's coming to the comment section looking for me to be a spokesperson on behalf of Functional Patterns as a company, that's not what I'm here to do, and that's not why I am making these videos. And we'll get into the why in just a second, because I've laid this video out in sort of the reasons why I'm doing this, the plan that I have to execute the half marathon and get to the half marathon, and then just some further closing thoughts on the comments on my previous Functional Patterns video about my knee, which are quite interesting. So why am I doing this? You might ask that question. I don't know why people run. The reason that I want to do this mostly is because when I sat down in front of a physio a few years ago, I was told that I would never run again. And to be told that information and then to find functional patterns and to work with a practitioner and do the Human Foundations course, I found it quite enlightening that I had such a transformation. I went from not being able to walk very comfortably, not being able to run, to learning how to walk again, to learning how to do these things again, and at the same time doing them pain-free. And that's powerful. That's a powerful statement to make. So in essence, I'd like to be able to prove that physiotherapists wrong, firstly, prove that someone with chronic pelvic pain syndrome can actually come back from it. And secondly, there's another reason for this video, and there's another reason for this series of videos that are coming forwards, and that's to raise awareness for brain tumors. My sister last year was rushed into hospital after having a seizure that no one could explain until they saw the CT scan. And what the CT scan showed was a very large tumor on her brain, or in her brain. She had amazing treatment from the NHS in this country, in the UK, and she got to see one of the best surgeons, the most professional surgeons I've ever met. And he did 9 hours of surgery with her being awake, and thankfully managed to remove 90% of the tumor. And ever since then, it's been a whirlwind for my family and for my sister of emotions, of challenges, of a lot of things. And the charity that she has been supported by is a very small charity. And the research and the amount of time and energy that the people in the charity give out and offer to people with brain tumors for free is just unbelievable. And they're so badly funded as a charitable organization. So I'd like to be able to donate the money from this series of videos that YouTube brings in to that charity. But I also encourage you to have a look down below at the links to see how you might be able to support something that is bigger than me, it's bigger than you, and it's bigger than, anything, is the way that you have time, limited time on this planet, and sometimes that time is cut short with people. My sister is okay. She's having further treatments. She's doing very well. She's making quite a good recovery, if you will, from the surgery, but it's been a very challenging year for her. And if she can lie on a table with her head open and being awake while someone's cutting her brain apart, then I'm sure I could run a half marathon to help contribute to the good, hardworking people of that charity who've been supporting her for all this time. The last reason that I'll cover really quickly is a lot of the exercises that I've been working with, a lot of the exercises that I've been doing with my practitioner are oriented around mechanically improving the gait cycle. So it stands to reason that if I've been improving my gait cycle, then I should be able to see a marked improvement in the way that I've been running. And that's what I'm setting out to test against. At the same time, I'm also very aware that having been to several races with my wife, who has run half marathons, she's just recently run her first marathon, I've seen thousands and thousands of runners come through the finish line at these events looking broken, looking sore, looking injured, running injured, starting races injured, knee guards on, umpteen amounts of Voltaren gels or Tiger Balm to help warm up their joints so that they don't end up in too much pain at the end. People who don't prepare properly for these races, which baffles me and it throws me off completely. So the plan, let's get into the plan because we kind of covered the why. At the moment, I'm working on a program from a company called 80/20 Endurance. I was going to work with the people that have been helping my wife prepare for her marathon training. Unfortunately, my budget for this project doesn't extend as far as the coaches who have been helping her. Dr. Gary at Sports Test in the UK is a fantastic coach. If you're ever looking to run a marathon or do triathlons or anything like that, I'd highly recommend going to pay him a visit. But I bought myself an 80/20 endurance plan with this company with a focus to target my heart rate zones whilst I'm preparing for the race rather than running for pace. I don't want to set a specific pace in mind. I just want to be able to A, complete the marathon in a good time, and B, complete it injury free. So it's important that I have a plan. Their plan is delivered through Training Peaks, which synchronizes with my devices. And then when I'm out on the run, I know exactly what I'm supposed to do and when. My running program consists of 5 days of running per week, but I'm focusing on spending 4 days of that running because I think that that's the right amount of volume for me without overdoing it. I did speak to the company via email just to double check that that would be okay. Essentially, you get a progression run or some interval or hill work. Then you get 2 foundation runs a week. Foundation run is building up your zone 2 foundational base. Progression runs take you through all the phases of your heart rates. And then I have a long run on a Sunday. So that's the running element of the plan that I'm doing. At the same time, I am doing 3 or 4 functional patterns training sessions per week where I'm getting very clear on myofascial release. I'm getting very clear on the corrective exercises that I need to be doing. And I'm spending an hour on a Sunday with my practitioner after my long run doing very, very advanced chamber stuff. I'd say it's as advanced as I'm going to get right now, but it is really good fundamental functional patterns, gait mechanics in our sessions. And I am really enjoying that process because it allows me to do my long run and have the right amount of input afterwards. So at the moment, I'm week 3 of a 15-week plan. I've got 12 weeks to go. My current physique is pretty much on screen right now. This is what I'm kind of looking at. My weight is on screen right now, I believe 81, maybe at the time of this making this video, maybe a little bit higher. I'd like that to come down if I possibly can, but I'm not too married to the idea. We're going to dive into a whole bunch of other stuff in these videos, but the main thing that I really want to focus on here is that I want to test out the mechanics of it relative to what they were before, because before I started working with an FP practitioner and before I started doing functional patterns and before I was in chronic pain, I was running quite a lot, but my mechanics and my cadence and all these different metrics that I'm going to mention over the next few weeks were not very good. I feel great. Things are going very, very well. And I promise to you guys who are watching this video that I will maintain an integrity with these videos to be 100% honest with you, just like I was in my last video where I talked about my knee problems. Now, covering those comments that have come through on that video, if you have nothing good to say, please just don't say it at all. I'm not really interested in commenting back to people who say that I'm on drugs and that I need to get a life and that I look like shit. I'm not here to tell you guys lies like a lot of influencers out there. I'm here to give you guys an objective reality as best I can with the information I've got available to me. And I make mistakes, I make stupid decisions. I'm not here to say you need to be selling your life away to a specific training modality. What I am saying is, though, you have to judge for yourself, how far do you need to go to find functionality in your life? And how far do you want to balance it out with having some enjoyment and being less robotic about things? I don't know the answer to that question, and that's what I'm here to find out. I like making videos, I like making content, and hopefully you guys like watching them, especially if it involves having some form of progression and journey. And also, I'm doing things that maybe not everyone else will do. I'm pretty sure Functional Patterns is going to come through and pull a solid one for me on this, because I know what I'm doing. I've got a good team behind me. I've got some experience in the industry anyway, and I feel pretty confident that everything that I've learned and that I've implemented over the last few years with FP is going to stand me in good stead for the race ahead. But we'll see what happens on race day. So that's it for now. Tune in over the next few weeks when I will be doing more videos where I'll be sharing a bit more of the running aspect of it and a little bit more of the fueling aspect and how I'm going to prepare for this from a food perspective. Have a great day, stay strong, and keep moving.